Xiaopeng company is doing well. From 2018, they have sold 1 million cars. Most of these cars were sold in 2024 and 2025, when the quantity of delivered cars increased by 2 times almost every year. Xiaopeng bet on high-tech, on AI integrated in their cars, and of course in super advanced autopiloting system. Today we are making an in-depth detailed review of one of the latest SUV, Xiaopeng G7. About 1 year ago, I made the review of Xiaopeng G6. I was amazed by that car and I told that it is actually the best SUV of 2024. It was a purely refined car with super nice handling, with a lot of space inside, with nice sound installation, nice audio system and very good energy efficiency. This is basically G6. The wheelbase is exactly same, it's 2890 millimeters. The body crate, body structure is exactly the same. I will put now the 2 pictures of the body crates of this car and you will see that it looks identically. Xiaopeng G6 was the first SUV to use the huge die casting of the front part between the front wheels and the rear part between the rear wheels, same what Tesla did before, and it was the first Chinese SUV to use this technology on both front end and rear end. Here we have exactly same. Basically, body crate doesn't have any difference. But at the same time, the appearance of the car is different completely. This car is much longer, despite the wheelbase the same. This car is even longer than their flagship model, the G9, by 1 millimeter, but still longer. And this car has completely evolutionized in terms of hardware, software, in terms of autopilot system and so on. Suspension as well. Today we will talk about this in details. To finalize about the body, the total length is 4,892 millimeters. The curb weight is 285 kilos with the smaller battery and 2,145 kilos with the bigger battery. And the body crate is made mostly out of the high pressure formed steel pressed at 2000 MPa, which makes it super rigid. The rigidity, the torsion rigidity of this body is 41,000 Newton meters on one angle, which is extremely good level. All other panels, including outside panels, are made of steel, including the door panels, including the inside door panels like here, and all these panels, including the hood cover as well, they are made of steel and have galvanized zinc coating, which is of course very important. The car is built on the Xiaopeng SEPA platform, which means Smart Electric Platform Architecture, which is by default 800-volt platform, which uses a lot of silicon carbide in its inverter and motor steering system. And also the coefficient of charging here is 5C, which means that you can charge this car for up to 400 kilometers range in less than 10 seconds. The actual amount of electricity this car can take during 1 hour is actually more than 400 kilowatt hours. The battery chemistry is lithium ferrum phosphate. It's supplied by the CALB, the China Aviation Lithium Batteries. The actual voltage here, which we can see from the marking plate on the door pillow, is 581 volts, which is close to the lower range of their official classification of the 800 volts platform. But actually it's not important because we know that this car can charge really fast. The battery is managed by AI Battery Doctor, which is a cloud service from Xiaopeng which monitors the state of the battery 24 hours, 7 days per week. Xiaopeng claims it can help to prolong the lasting of the battery up to 30%. Also, we have here the updated XHP 3.0 thermal management of the battery with integrated heat pump in all the versions of this car. The battery has 343 three-dimensional protection system, which can hold side impact with power up to 80 tons. And in terms of the capacity, probably the most important for the final user, we have 2 batteries here, 68.8 kilowatt hours, which is 602 kilometers by CLTC, and 80.8 kilowatt hours, which they claim to have 702 kilometers range by CLTC. In terms of power, everything is very simple because we have only one version of this car. It's a rear-wheel drive with 218 kilowatts of the power, which means 296 horsepower with 450 Newton meters of torque, which allows this car to accelerate from 0 to 100 in just 6.5 seconds. This car is pretty fast, I confirm it. The G6 has exactly same motor and exactly same specification and parameters, despite when G6 entered the market, it actually had the four-wheel drive version. Now both G6 and G7 don't have any four-wheel drive versions. Now it's time to talk about what is really important for the final customer of the Xiaopeng in China and for the Xiaopeng company itself, the autopilot system. This particular car has three trim levels. The basic price starts from 27,500 United States dollars based on today's exchange rate. The top version is almost 32,000. All of them by default has the XNGP system, which is the Xiaopeng navigation guided autopiloted system. Basically, it's almost level 3 system, which allows you to drive based on the navigation, traffic light signs. The car can change the lane by itself, of course can park by itself, and so on. But the hardware in this car is actually different from trim to trim. The first two trims are based on the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8295P, but the top version, the Ultra version, which is actually right on your screen, has something different. I think most of you have seen the robot Iron from Xiaopeng on YouTube probably, which is the most humanoid-like robot in the world. And Xiaopeng, a company, even had to cut actually pens so that to show the metal skeleton, so that to show there is no any human inside. Both that robot named Iron and this Xiaopeng G7 use the same chip, which is called AI Turing, which is developed by Xiaopeng company, domestically developed. Here exactly we have three microchips which are called Turing. The total operating capability is 2,250 trillion operations per second, which actually makes this car leader of the market, doesn't matter what price segment. From other important changes, Xiaopeng refused to use the LiDAR in their autonomous driving technology, despite even the G6 had it and many other models had it. Now the self-driving is based only on the cameras and millimeter wave radars. Here we have 11 cameras, some of them they are ultra high definition ones, and this is actually cheaper and more simple in terms of hardware. And by the way, for example, Tesla, they never used LiDARs, they always used only cameras. One of the reasons was actually to cut the costs. Here we have the adaptive shock absorbers, which has several functions. First of all, we can choose the stiffness of the car, starting from Comfort Plus up to the Sport. I think it has 5 levels of regulations, which of course influence the handling of this car. But more than that, it is actually an active suspension. Using the camera right here, the car can define the speed bump, for example, like that one, 2 meters in advance of it and adjust the suspension. When driving, I don't feel particular work of this system, but it deals with the road bumps and imperfections in a really good way. In terms of suspension design, we have here the upper double wishbone lever, which is actually a premium shim. And also we have the fully aluminum levers in the front suspension. And here even you can see that we have the die casting of the front part. This is the aluminum die casting, which is even impossible to hide. And the ground clearance right here is more than 170 millimeters under the front plastic protection, which is a pretty good result. On the middle of the car, the situation is even better, 195 millimeters of ground clearance, and the battery is protected by the factory steel screen, which is very good unless it will start rusting at one moment. But everything looks of good quality. Rear suspension is a multi-link suspension. All levers, as they see, are made of steel. Here we have the ground clearance, 170 millimeters under the rear motor, rear subframe, and everything is well protected with plastic screens, but of course they are pretty thin and probably easy to crash. All 3 trim levels look exactly the same from appearance. The optional 20 wheels by default are 18-inch wheels. So now we should go to the interior. I will show you the vast and enormous equipment of this car. And we start from the doors. We have the electric suction doors. Generally, it's an optional feature, but now, in terms of some promotion, it's for free in all trims of Xiaopeng G7. The glass in front doors is the multi-layered soundproof glass, and the trim in this car is really remarkable and not typical for this market segment. First of all, this is the natural wood panel, which is made from the imported from Europe wood, and because it's a natural material, each panel in every car is actually unique, not repeatable. Here we have the soft covering, probably from PVC, here as well, here as well. Here we have pretty basic and cheap plastic, but on the seats and on the steering wheel, here we have the natural Napa leather of very, very good quality. Also, the pillar panels and the roof panel is covered in microfiber, which is not typical for this segment of the cars, which is actually a premium material. But the real revolution we have here. This is the AR HUD, and Xiaopeng has never had the HUD system in any model before this one, before G7. I don't know why, but historically it was like that. So finally, they developed this HUD system with Huawei, and finally, this is actually the market leader. The diagonal is 87 inches. It can show you the colorful picture, same as basically TV, from the rear view cameras in the mirrors, from the mirror cameras, and even the movie. It can show you the movie on your screen. The brightness of this HUD is 12,000 nit, which is actually about 10 times more than the latest model of your laptop. The coefficient of distortion is only less than 1%. It's really amusing HUD system. The seats has 12-layer structure, the foam material is 30 millimeters thickness, and they have heating, ventilation, and 8-point massage. That is not very typical for this market segment. But guess what? They have it not only for the front seats, but also for the rear seats, which is totally amazing in all trim versions by default. Yes, frankly speaking, the massage, the 8-point massage, is not the best I have ever experienced, but for this market segment, it's probably better than average. The heating and ventilation works perfectly. And also, one more thing not very typical for this price and market segment is the heated steering wheel. 3 positions of heating. The highest position makes it extremely hot, by default in all trims as well. One more very slight disadvantage is this plastic here. Despite here we have premium material, here it's pretty basic, looks like a from commercial van. Here is the glove box, which can be opened electronically, which also can be a password set for that. But inside we have soft material, pretty nice. Works closing manually. But what impresses me even more is the second row. It's definitely better than most of the competitors. First of all, it's a lot of space here. The flat floor, the high seat cushion, a lot of space over my head. By the way, this is the 2.13 square meters of panoramic sunroof glass, which has the silver plate covering, which allows to hold up to more than 99% of the ultraviolet and infrared rays. But we also have this screen, so it's pretty much of entertainment for the second row seaters here. This is a 9-inch diagonal screen where we have the steering of rear seat heating, seat ventilation, massage. As you see, we have the steering of the audio, we have some APP, and we have the climate steering. So this is the 3-zone climate system in this car for $27,500. In the armrest, which is very comfortable, very long, we have the 3rd wireless charging slot, which is extremely good and not many competitors have it. Even more than that, we have this table with some magnetic field which actually can help to hold your gadget, your tablet or your phone somewhere like this. This made in pretty nice way, nothing is losing, feels quite rigid and convenient. This second row, in my opinion, is definitely 10 out of 10. The trunk in this car is a record breaker. The volume with unfolded seats right like now, 819 liters, incredible. This is much bigger than most competitors I know, bigger than, for example, G6. Of course, here we do not have 819 liters, but this niche under the false floor is more than 100 liters for sure. Just check it out. It's incredibly nice. This position of fixation of the false floor is extremely nice as well. We have some hooks for fixating of the cargo. We have the 12-volt socket. We have these hooks for hanging something. We have this subwoofer of the XPeng audio. And now I will fold the seats, but you already see the infography of the trunk with folded seats on your screen. In this configuration, it's almost flat floor and 2,277 liters. Incredibly good car for a family. In addition, we have the front. To be honest, it's one of the smallest trunks I've ever seen. It's only 41 liter, but it is water resistant. Actually, it can hold water and it has the drainage hole in it. So, of course, it will be usable for some maybe dirty carriage or for your charger, small charger or something like that. Better to have it than not to have. Now it's time to shoot the test drive for you. I've been driving this car for 3 days. I've learned all the strong sides of this car. Now it's time to tell about them to you. I have been nitpicking in this car, and believe it or not, I haven't found any disadvantages in terms of driving and daily usage of this car. The view in all the mirrors imperfect. Side mirrors very good, frameless. Rear view mirror extremely good, even without the streaming view function when it's turned off. I still see everything I need through the tailgate glass. With streaming function, it's completely perfect. The seat position is very nice. All the comfort functions like air conditioner, heating, ventilation of the seats, massage, everything works fast, everything works exactly as you expect to work it. Acceleration is nice as well. From the 0 kilometers, it is a little bit too smooth, but it's normal for a single motor EV car. They try to make it more energy efficient. They try to prolong use of the gear, of the differential gear and so on. But at the speed of 40, 60, 80, the acceleration in sport mode is extremely nice. It's enough for any overtaking on the highway and so on. But probably the most remarkable thing is actually the energy consumption. Yes, here we don't have the nice number right away because while filming, we had around 4 hours when the car was just standby with the heating turned on, and that's why now we have 17.6, but that's really not true. While driving in Shanghai autumn, even winter environment, the car showed around 16 kilowatt hours or even less. With pretty fast driving in sport mode, with actually overtaking, with turned on heater and so on, it's hard to believe that almost 2.2 ton car can show something like that. Actually, even from the G9, I know that this car is very energy effective, that the Xiaopeng brand really makes energy effective cars. Now we will accelerate from 0 to something in the sport mode. It's pretty nice. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Even the ESP turned on in a moment at pretty high speed. Basically, you can turn off the ESP here, but still it will not be turned off for 100%. What I wanted to show you, that the driving modes adjustment, driving habits adjustment is really vast. Look at this. We have the power steering adjustment. When it's light, it really can be used by just one finger. When it's heavy, it's really heavy. The brake pedal feel can be changed to 3 levels. This is the suspension stiffness, and maybe this is the only thing which I can find a little bit not perfect, because in the sport mode, the suspension becomes a little bit too hard, but I could not say that the handling becomes extremely perfectly sportive. Nevertheless, in comfort and even in Comfort Plus, the suspension is still good for handling, but at the same time, is extremely comfortable. So I prefer Comfort Plus in this car. Even the handling balance is not ruined in the Comfort Plus mode. And we have the 5 levels of regeneration, of recuperative braking, which is much more than most of the competitors have, including we have the X pedal stop mode. It means that just basically it's a one pedal drive. When we don't push the acceleration, the car will stop. Really vast variety of how you can drive this car, of how you can use this car, including the hill descent control and so on. Of course, I cannot tell you about the navigation guided autopilot system working. I have tested it so much that I really have what to say. First of all, it really works perfectly in terms of navigation guiding. It really finds the way super nice and so on. Secondly, it can do pretty complicated maneuvers like U-turns and so on. This is really good. The worst things are like this. The car sometimes actually breaks the speed limit. I assume it takes the speed limit somewhere from the navigation maps or something like that, because when we have, for example, construction site and there is a temporary speed limit sign, the car will not follow it. I had many times where the traffic sign shows 30 or 40 kilometers per hour, but the car was doing 60 or 70. One more thing which surprises me, the car asks to put my hands on the steering wheel very often, without any obvious need. Even BYD, with actually lower level of the D-Pilot 100, doesn't require hands on the steering wheel so often. And for example, Aviator doesn't require your hands on the steering wheel completely. Actually, theoretically, Aviator autopilot system is same level as here. And one more thing which is not perfect is actually lane keeping, surprisingly, which is a pretty basic feature, but sometimes the car lane keeping is not perfect. Sometimes it goes too close to the edge of the lane, scaring me, and sometimes it becomes frightened of the cars on the neighboring lanes without obvious reason. behaving like someone who has been driving for like 3-4 days and doesn't feel actually the car size and doesn't feel that there is no any danger from other participants of their traffic. At the speed of 70, this car shows less than 60 decibel, which is really good achievement. Actually, it's better than the 9X, which we have just filmed. I really hope I could show you the evolution of Xiaopeng. On purpose, I compared this car to the first edition of G6, and despite the industrial design of the car is basically same, the hardware and software change 2-3 levels higher. About this particular model, after 3 days of daily driving, I cannot say anything bad. This car is synthetically amazing, which of course perfect in terms of equipment, in terms of handling, and especially in terms of the energy effectiveness. Using this car every day in pretty cold weather like 10 degrees Celsius and achieving the energy consumption below 15 or even 14 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers is truly remarkable. Please subscribe to my channel, push the like button, and of course see you at next videos. Don't forget to leave a comment.